Don't forget to hit record. Look at that.
You at, John?
You're good.
Okay. All right, you guys, thanks for coming tonight. Hopefully this will be brief, but I'm here to answer a lot of questions. My name is Blair Seymour. I'm just going to go over a little bit of what the changes have been this year for the youth programs. Just a sec, I gotta share my screen with you. I haven't Zoomed in a while, which is actually a beautiful thing, so. So as you can see, youth programs this year, I think everyone has had a chance to look at the program guide and see some of the changes that we have made. Basically, our philosophy is to design the programs to develop the best all-around skier. This summer, we had the chance to really sit down and take some time to say, if we didn't have any programs and we wanted to create programs, what would they look like? And one of the things that we have unique in Steamboat is Halcyon Hill, how it offers every discipline basically at our feet, at our doorstep. So we wanted to utilize that a little bit more. You can see that we did a lot of addition of cross-country skiing, and that's kind of been on my mind for many years, and as well as I think a lot of the different directors' minds. The addition of cross-country skiing complements the Alpine program so hugely in that it enhances the skills that we want to create in an Alpine skier, yet on a different piece of equipment that challenges them with balance and agility and foot-to-foot learning and all those great things that are harder to develop on locked-in Alpine skis. So the opportunity to put kids on cross-country skis a little bit earlier and once a week is a great option to be able to do. The sessions will probably be a little bit more skills focused than really cross-country technique focused. So just a note on that. So we'll just go through the programs just briefly. Toots, we have two new programs. The Tiny Toots is basically for 3 years old only. It's a shorter session. We found that the 3-year-olds tend to kind of melt into noodles after about 45 minutes. So we just said, let's get the best of them first thing in the morning. It's a little bit earlier than normal, and just concentrated 45-minute session. Little Toots is the same as years past. And Mini Meisters is a new program. And it's for those 4 and 5-year-olds that aren't in school yet. It's late morning program, 10 weeks, and half the time they'll be on Alpine skis, half the time they'll be on cross-country skis, and we will provide the cross-country skis for them. So that's a really exciting new program. I'm looking forward to seeing how the kids do in that program. U6, 5-year-olds only again this year. 8-week program, Alpine only is a U6 program. You can also add a day of cross-country during the week. I think it's on Wednesdays. You do U6 Meister program. And that's just to enhance the U6 Alpine skiing skills. U8, 6 and 7-year-olds, same as before, 1 half-day program during the week, or U8 plus is same as before, and just add a day of skiing on Halcyon during the week, but it's going to be on Tuesdays, not Thursdays this year, so that's a change. But if you want to add, we have a U8 or a U8 plus Meister. So either of those, you add a day of cross-country skiing. And the cross-country ski days are not going to be focused on technique of cross-country skiing, but rather on skills. A lot of questions about what happened to ski and jump. After talking to Todd and I, we had a lot of meetings together about what the ideal progression is to develop a Nordic jumper. And he said, ideally, they would be in Nordic skis jumping early on because it allows them to have ankle flexion better, a better in-run. It allows them to try their telly landings. It creates better balance. And so that was a move from last year's ski and jump where they jumped in Alpine gear. This year, they'll actually, it'll be part of the Meister program and they'll jump on their Nordic skis. And then U10, there's some 2 days options. And then there's, which are going to be U10 2-day, which is same as last week, 2 times a week of alpine skiing. You can add the ski and jump, and that adds 1 day of Nordic jumping. They start on alpine skis, and when they hit a certain level, they'll transfer to Nordic jumping skis. And then U10 Ski Meister is just adding that day of cross country with the Nordic combined program. It's a great program for those new to town that don't even know what they might want to do. It allows them to try 2 different sports fully, both alpine and Nordic combined. Then there's the 3-day and 4-day options. 3 days the same as last year. And the 4-day is the one that we're really excited about this year. Is it adds on a day of cross-country skiing. And that day is going to be probably a very playful day of experimentation on cross-country skis. We look at it as having some PAMA rides, some chairlift rides, some going off jumps, some building of jumps, and some courses, all kinds of different things. So those 2 programs, though, really require consistent attendance. I think that's the most important thing, is just being really committed to those programs, just to not to have people just skipping days all the time. Just doesn't work very well with the cohesiveness of the group. So that's what I have, just basically for what we've got going for programming. You are welcome to ask questions. We have Gretchen on the line that can answer questions about scholarship. We have John Knowlton on the line, our associate executive director. I'm not sure if Todd's on the line. He was going to be, but I don't see him yet. And so just know that you can type in a question, or you can unmute yourself and ask a question. So I have one question typed in. Is there an option that is 3 days Nordic combined and only 1 day of alpine for U10? More Nordic focused, but keeping the day of alpine. Yes, there is U10 Nordic combined program that is purely a Nordic combined program. They do 2 days of jumping and 2 days of cross-country skiing, but it's actually a 3-day program because they do both sports on Saturday. And then you can add a program, 1 day option of a program in a different discipline. So Jenna, that is a possibility. You would register for the U10 Nordic Combined, and then Gretchen, I don't know if they call you and add on the 1 day of alpine or how that works.
We would probably just add it as an additional option, and they can register for that. It'll be a weekday.
Yeah, it'll be a weekday. Yeah. What time in the afternoon are the cross country for the 5-year-old ski meisters? It will be after school. For the U6 meisters, it's after school 4 to 5:30 program.
I have a question about the dryland training.
Mm-hmm.
For U10, my daughter's looking at the U10 4-day.
Okay.
But I know that dryland starts in October.
Mm-hmm.
But she really wants to do ballet on Mondays.
That's totally fine. We want to totally encourage that. Dryland is just something that if they don't have another activity, come, but it's not going to deter their experience at all for the winter. So
can she do it on the other day though? Can we just do like half?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yep.
Cool.
Peter, why don't you ask your question? 1 day of boarding. Okay. 3 days of all mountain and 2.
Yeah, so we just tried to do the 3-day program, but my daughter wanted to do 2 days of skiing. So she did Tuesdays, Saturdays last year, and was trying to do like a Thursday boarding, which we sort of did a little bit. And my wife tried to see where it was on the site to be able to sort of make that adjustment but she wanted to make sure that she was signing up for the right stuff, but wasn't sure where.
So how old is she now?
She'll be 9 in November.
Okay. So she would be doing the U10 2-day. And unfortunately, that is the one program now. We switched the 2-day program to Thursdays and Saturdays. And that's going to be the one program that will conflict with board riders.
Got it.
So shoot me an email and it's very few people that it affects, but we can look at something and see if there's anything that we can do to.
Okay,
make that
that
work.
may be why we couldn't find it. So that makes
Yep,
sense.
that's why. Yep.
Awesome, thank you.
Okay, here's some more questions. Can we do U10 2-day and add cross-country day? Yes, absolutely, you can do that. You can do U10 2-day and add a cross-country day. And I would say the important thing to know that when we are doing cross-country, our cross-country is more as a benefit to support Alpine. It's not going to be a way to enhance your cross-country skiing skills. And so if your kid is really into skate skiing technique and classic technique and all of that, I would encourage you to do a 1 day of a traditional cross-country department program rather than what we are going to offer in the cross-country realm of things. So
One
is
of
there
the
tran-
other,
yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say one of the other things, Blair, to clarify, because as you were walking through the programs, you interchanged Nordic skis with cross-country skis a little bit. And with all of the programs we're talking about here, that skiing time will be on cross-country skis, the skinny skis, as opposed to the big, long, wide Nordic jumping skis.
Yeah.
If the kids are signed up for the Jump Nordic Combined program, that's when they get to use those big ones. But we're working on the skinny skis, and like Blair said, it would. And if the kids signed up for one of these programs and decided they like cross country, obviously they've got the benefit because they'll have been on cross country skis. But it's not the cross country for this group isn't a long distance endurance
Focused program, yeah.
focused on technique. It's how can we make these cross country skis in effect work in all these different balance situations that will help the kids on alpine gear later on, which is a really unique approach and a really good approach. I'm excited that Blair and the team have put these plans in place.
Yeah. Another question, transportation from schools. Currently, we do not have that available. You never know what will happen, but currently we don't have that available. And COVID protocols, we don't know that yet either. It changes every day, so we'll just see. Got our fingers crossed, but like I said, last year we did the whole thing during the, whole pandemic. So we're just hoping that we can at least do the whole thing and maybe we can go inside lodges this year. So we'll see.
That's what I was going to ask about lodges and like bathroom situations.
Yeah, we always have been able to use bathrooms. It's just the lodges that we'll just have to wait and see. We probably won't be able to make that call until closer to, mid to end of November. Unfortunately, but it's how it changes every day. Is there an option for teleskiing or even a clinic for U10s? Or is tele really dead? I love it. The hardest thing that we found with teleskiing, and this all happened last year, is there's no place for kids to rent equipment anymore. So it makes it a really big challenge to do any kind of drop-in or teleclinic or anything like that. You have to be pretty much committed to doing tele because you can't find rental equipment. And so that's the biggest problem that we have with tele, which is unfortunate, but I hope it's not dead, but it's not helping that we don't have a place to rent equipment.
We do have an additional option of adding 1 day of teleskiing on Thursdays. Again, that conflicts with U10, but we do have that option for 9-year-olds and up.
And it is 6 to 8, so they could do a double session. Great for a 9-year-old, 4 to 8 at night. Anyway, ratio of adults to kids in U6, it's usually a 6-to-1 ratio is what I usually like to keep it at. Is U6 broken into groups once instructors see how each kid does? Yes, they are. Know how to get.
And along those lines, Blair, just with all these programs, any of these programs that Blair put up there, including the ones that have a cross-country day, it'll be with their core coaches. Whereas these crossover programs we've had in the past and in the current Ski Meister and Ski and Jump for U10s, and those U10 Ski Meister and U10 Ski and Jump, the days that they're with the Nordic and Jump, the Nordic Combined Jumping group, they'll be with Nordic Combined and Jumping coaches on those days, different from their ski coaches. But with the other programs like the 4-day U10, which is, they're with the same coaches, even on the cross-country skis day. So that's a little different than these Meister programs have been in the past.
That'll be different also because it might be really entertaining, because a lot of these alpine coaches are excited about it, but they are not proficient cross-country skiers. So it'll be a good laugh for them, for the kids. For U6, broken into groups with different instructors, they will not need to know how to get on and off the lifts by themselves. They are still ride a lift with an adult. And in the U6 program last year, we created this lift rider way for parents to work off work deposit. And it was really helpful. We always had a junior coach, a coach, and a lift rider with each group. And the lift rider would kind of show up when they needed to load lifts and take 2 kids on the lift with him or her. And then they would go ski or run, meet them at the next lift. So it was really, really effective. So they don't have to know how to ride the lift by themselves yet. The U8 plus, the ones that are skiing during the week at Howelson Hill, we will start with that because the chairlift will be open, hopefully, most likely, during our training sessions. So there will be the PAMA option, but there will also be the chairlift option. And so there will be a potential that we'll go over it a little bit more like we did last year, but they will potentially be riding the lift unaccompanied by an adult. So just because there's not a lot of adults just hanging out at the lift at Howelson. So know that when you're signing up.
Will you kind of assess, because like my son is just turned 6, so he'll be in U8, but he's kind of a little guy still. Yeah.
We will. And I mean, it'll be one of those things where, we'll kind of gauge the comfort level of parents and stuff like that. It is going to, and it all depends also when we first, get to ride that lift and when it all starts. I haven't been on that lift yet, so I have no idea, but there's, like the mountain, there's lifts that I like taking kids on and there's not lifts I don't. So we'll just have to kind of assess, and we'll, the lift ops, slowing it down. Do I need a boost? Teaching the kids to advocate for themselves and stuff like that is definitely part of our.
I'm more worried about him riding the whole thing than getting in and off.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. I get it. That's probably the scariest part for parents is putting their kid on a lift. So I know it was for me. Do you think you will add uphill sessions, schema, etc. in the future? For schema, we tried that out a couple of years ago. It wasn't super popular, so we turned it into more of a backcountry program, and that was a more popular program. And so right now, I think that's probably the route we're going to take with the uphill skiing. There is a potential, and John might know better, that we might do clinics for different age groups throughout the season on more backcountry skinning and stuff like that, but we do not have an actual schemo program. And U6s do not need passes at Howelson. They only need passes at Steamboat Mountain. U6 Meisters will need a cross-country pass at Howelson and a regular pass at the mountain.
Blair, there was a question up above that I think skipped over from Nadine about will there be a cap of number of kids in each program? How quickly do we need to decide for U10 and U12?
So the programs that I'm more worried about filling up really quickly are probably U6 Meisters, Little Toots, Tiny Toots, Mini Meisters. The U10, I'm not as worried about filling up in the first week. It usually fills up really well, but it doesn't, I probably won't cap it till, you know, in September-ish. I encourage people to register the first week, just so we have an idea of what's going on. If we need to switch kids around into different programs after that, that's not a problem. It's good to just kind of get signed up and in the system, and then we can figure out where a kid is best going to fit. Especially sometimes we need to look at rosters. Are there any other kids his age? Where are his friends? Stuff like that. So I do encourage people to sign up the first week. Doesn't have to be 10 a.m. on Wednesday unless it's some of those younger kid programs that have tighter caps. U8 plus Meister, should they rent stiffer racing skis? And for the cross-country skis, should we go to the touring center sometime in rentals? Yes. So we have been in contact with Brigitta from the Steamboat Touring Center, and she has placed a large order of rental equipment for U8 and U10 size and U6 ages. So hopefully that will come in. And that is where you're going to rent stuff. And September is when you will rent it. She's going to send me an email when they have their inventory. I will send it out to you. And then she wants people to come grab the stuff and take it away from her establishment, just because she doesn't have as much space as she needs for all the rentals that she has. So I will let you know when that inventory comes in, and then definitely jump on it right in September. That's really important because she ran out pretty quickly last year. She is adding to her inventory, but we are also adding a lot of kids on cross country. Stiffer racing skis, I would say if you have a kid that enjoys, is a higher level skier, it's not a bad thing to try and get them on the Rozzy Heroes, the same kids, same ones that we put on the U10s on, Rozzy Heroes with Lang boots. So if you have a U10, you'll know what I'm talking about. Otherwise, I can send that out to some of the U8 families. Otherwise, it doesn't really matter what skis they're on. A more directional ski is what I prefer, not a twin tip. So Tony's not on the call, so I can say that. And but yeah, directional ski is a good thing. They don't weigh that much, so it's, you don't want to get them too stiff of a ski. They can't bend it. For U10 4-day, how much freestyle jumping they'll do a lot. We will incorporate air awareness every week, probably in the program. It could also be on their cross-country skis, but it will also be on the terrain jumps as well as the mogul jumps. So we will add a lot of air awareness. That's a goal for us for U10 4-day and 3-day.
And that's one of the unique things about our U10 programs, just that they still are that multidiscipline. So we're trying to prepare the kids with skills if they want to go on and be competitive when they're older in either free skiing, moguls, or alpine racing. So they'll get a diverse set of skills. They probably will do quite a bit of, they'll do a lot of everything. For those that maybe are free ski focus or moguls focus, they might say, wow, we did a lot of alpine racing and gates. But if you talk to a lot of, in the former program that I was at, the freestyle director put all of her kids in the alpine program until they were U10s to get those skills. That was helpful. Our free ski director really wants the kids to have great carving skills. But at the same time, we make sure with the coaches that they're also getting plenty of the jumping and the moguls and the free, I think it works out really well, and the kids can find their passion, and they're not losing ground with either discipline they go. Perhaps a little bit when they first start out after U10, because they don't have the same competition experience as some of the peers from other clubs, but they catch up and then some in the future years. And it's a really good system that Blair's put in place with the youth programs.
Betsy's asking, do all programs include a weekend? All of my programs do, except for like Little Toots and Tiny Toots. There are programs such as cross-country cruisers that are just during the week. But that's maybe the only program that's just during the week. Does anyone else have any questions? You can type them in, you can unmute yourself. I'm fine with that. Well, if no one has questions, you guys are free to go. You can stay on the line. I'll stay on the line if you didn't want to ask in front of, oh, wait. Diversity programs, thanks for updating. Let's have a hard time picking just one. Ah, that's awesome. Yeah. So yeah, go watch the Olympics, have some good dinner and enjoy the cool night. And we look forward to seeing you all in the snow, like the picture behind me. If you need to go ahead. I'll just keep answering some questions. Is there a big difference between Alpine U12 and Devo Free Moguls? Yes, there is a big difference between the two. James, if you want to unmute yourself, it might be better to maybe chat about that, what your kid is actually looking for. Otherwise, we'll see you guys later. James, what are they looking for? And who's your kid first?
Ella Colin. So we just joined the program last year.
Okay.
So she did U10 last year, and she did the water ramping this year.
Yep.
Although just broke her arm the other day.
Bummer. Love it.
Not doing the water ramping, just doing the trampoline side. But anyway, yeah, so I mean, I was just kind of curious about the two. She kind of has less of an interest in the racing side, but somewhat of an interest in just kind of more all mountain and moguls and all that. But she hasn't been in the program for many years either. So I was just kind of curious about some of the differences between the two.
I would say probably the Devo Free program is going to be the right match for her.
Okay.
The U12 tends to become more of a focus on racing. They still do a lot of all mountain stuff and they do a lot of skill work, but they are focused a little bit more on trying to get faster in gates versus working more on mogul skills or all mountain skills, big mountain skills, steeps and stuff like that. So I would say she probably will like the Devo Free moguls.
Okay.
And the Devo Free
all
moguls,
mountain program.
or the all mountain, but I would say Devo Free moguls, I'd recommend more than the all mountain. And then the Devo Free moguls and the Devo Free free skiing, the groups train together. They're just kind of, we put the two options to see where people's interests are so that we can kind of divide them up to different coaches. So there's some flexibility if she decides that she really likes the park or the pipe or stuff like that.
Okay.
So that's where I'd recommend.
Great. And then do they generally rent mogul skis, or is that something that we should purchase for?
They actually oftentimes rent the exact same things that U10s rented last year. So the same kind of equipment as last year.
So the Razi Hero is still what's used in the, okay.
Yeah. They usually want a traditional like carbine ski.
Okay.
You know, so that's usually what they recommend.
Okay.
And then if they're more in the free skier, world, Tony will have them try a twin tip as well.
Okay.
But if they're more into just skill wise, that's going to be a better skill gaining ski for her.
Okay.
So, U6, definitely bring a snack and water or a mini juice box, as a lot of kids brought. Some brought soft water bottles last year. It was great. All depends on if we can go inside or not. So if we can go in and get water, that's a whole different ball game, but always pack a couple snacks, not just one. Those guys get hungry. Right. There's no other questions, right? Are there transportation options? We do not right now have any transportation options from schools during the week. We haven't for many years, but it's not something that's completely out of the cards. We'll look at it every year. If we had a vehicle that we could do it in, if someone gifted us a school bus, we could do it. So that's the only thing. We just don't have the vehicle to do it. So right now, no transportation. Peter.
Yeah, is there anybody that would walk them down? So the younger kids, like that would meet them at like the flagpole and walk them down to Howson on Thursdays versus the bus where it's not that far, but
From like Soda Creek?
yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely people that have walked kids over. You know, it all depends on if parents can leave their bags over at the lodge and then kids can get changed there. I mean, everything changes with all that.
Fair enough.
So
Wait
we
and
have had a lot
see.
of kids carpool and stuff like that. You know, they find a carpool every Thursday, every third Thursday. This group of parents picks up kids and delivers them to Howson. The whole COVID thing puts a wrench in everything. So ideally, yes, if you didn't have any COVID, you could totally take a group of kids and walk on over and have a snack on the way and throw snowballs and eventually get to Howson.
If. So I guess we'll see.
Exactly.
All right, thank you.
Trying to decide between All Mountain Program and Devo Free. So Devo Free is definitely going to be a lot more skill building. All Mountain Program, I look at it as a social ski club, and it is skiing with your buddies and some instruction, but a lot less than you're going to get in like a Devo Free or U12 program. So that's kind of, Meredith, does that answer your question? Okay. Yeah. So I recommend if they still want a little bit more ski technique instruction to go with Devo Free. Any other questions? All right, now you guys can pass all this information on to all your friends. Let it snow, not quite yet.
We'll take anything wet right now.
Actually, we'll take rain though. Rain is where rain works totally great. It makes the trails awesome. I just don't want it to get that cold yet. All right, if you guys don't have any more questions, I'll just stay on the line and you guys, if anyone has something they want to ask. Otherwise, have a good evening.
Thanks, Blair.
Yeah, thanks for being there. That's helpful.